This should not be possible. Hello there, Ray here, and a trick that lets you get infinite effects in survival was just discovered. I got a message from Bugs explaining that the new affinity option that came in the recent 1.20 snapshot works by giving the player an effect for a negative duration. Typically when you're given an effect, it's positive and it slowly counts down to 0, then it vanishes. But Bugs found a way to get negative effects in survival using this crazy contraption. The entire process happens very quickly. So I made this timeline illustration to show you guys what exactly is happening. So over here is the very beginning. This is right when you're given your first potion effect, which is the weaker of the two potions. So in this example, we're going to be using regen, which is illustrated by magenta wool. So after you're given this regen level 1 effect, it only lasts so long. So this length is how long it would normally last. But while you still have this weak effect, we then give the player a stronger effect of the same type. This is our regen 2 potion, which is represented by the red wool. So what happens when you have two effects, but one is stronger? Well, let's go ahead and just do it in game. So if we give ourselves the regen, we'll get regeneration. But if we come in and use our regen 2 potion, you'll see that this now turns to regeneration level 2. So that's exactly what happens here. So all of a sudden the player shows up as having the regen 2 potion, but notice when the regen 2 potion goes away, all of a sudden we're going back to the previous potion effect, which was regen 1. So in our timeline here, both regens are actually still on the player, with only the strongest being shown. And when the regen 2 effect ends, then what's left is the player just showing up with the regen 1 effect. And then typically that would just end and you would have no effects. So during this period here, the player has both the strong and the weak version. The strong shows up, but the weak is still there. It's just hidden from your view. And we can actually see this by using this command, which will show the effects which are on the player. So right here, this says that there is a hidden effect. And right after it explains what type of hidden effect it is. If we go to the end of this, it'll say ID 10. That's the ID for the regeneration effect. And it also says it's an amplifier of 0. This means it's the default strength of it. So that means level 1. It also says how long the player should have this effect. This is kept tracked in game ticks, which shows 20 per second, and the duration will quickly count downwards. Once it reaches 0, the effect is removed from the player. Then after the hidden effect, they actually show the effect which is on the player, which also shows up as ID 10, meaning regeneration, but it has an amplifier of 1, meaning that it's level 2. Notice that this effect has a duration that is smaller, because remember our regen 2 potion didn't last as long as our regen 1. So here we can clearly see that the regen 2 effect is going to vanish before the regen 1. Then all will be left is regen 1, and once that reaches 0, we'll be left with no effects. But what if our regen 2 potion isn't given to the player until later on? In this situation, the player is given regen 1 up until this point, then he gets regen 2. Once this occurs, the game can already tell that the regen 1 isn't needed, because once you reach the end of the regen 2 duration, the regen 1 effect will already have counted down. At this point, the game will automatically not even keep track of the weaker regen 1 effect. So the way the trick works is that we want to have the regen 1 still be around when the regen 2 ends. So when this one ends, we still want a little bit of the regen 1s to still be there. Now at this point, the game will unhide the regeneration 1 and it will show up. And this is where the trick comes in. Before it ends, we'll come in with another regen 2 potion, which will extend it beyond the normal length. So what happens here is that this potion would have normally ended right here. But since it's being hidden, it can't actually end. So the duration number continues to go down even after it reaches 0, which puts it into the negatives. And the only negative number it can reach is -1, which is also used to illustrate that the player has infinite duration. We go ahead and just give ourselves the actual infinite using the command. And if we look at this with this command to see exactly what it looks like when we have this effect on us, you can see that duration is set to -1. So once the duration runs out of our normal regen, it's set to -1. At this point, it's not being shown because we still got regen 2, but eventually that will run out, and what's left is just the regeneration level 1, but now it's infinite, so it'll go on forever. And that's what this machine is doing here. It makes the player stand very far away from the potions. As you guys probably know, when you throw the potion close to you, it will last longer compared to if it's thrown further away from you. So when we push this button, what it's going to do is going to throw out the normal regen way over there, and we're just going to barely get it, so it's only going to last a couple of seconds out of the full 45 seconds. Then after a short redstone delay, this redstone will go into this observer, which powers this other dispenser here. This is going to drop in the regen 2. It's also very far away, so it's only going to last for a split moment. And then when the regen 2 effect about runs out, then we're going to come in and apply a second one. Then when you have the second regen 2, the first regen down here will elapse. Then after the second regen 2 runs out, you'll be left with that negative, which is also known as the infinity regeneration, all while being 100% survival. But this doesn't just work for regeneration, you can actually use other potion effects, such as we have Turtle Master here, the weaker version as well as the stronger version, and if you just stand back here and push the button, you'll see that we get both effects, and when they run out, we once again get infinite resistance 3. And this can work for any effects where there's a stronger and a weaker version of them, with it also being possible to make the stronger version last a shorter time as the weaker version. In potions, this can be done by having them at different distances. You can also get like infinite jump boost, infinite speed, infinite strength, and also negative effects such as like infinite poison and infinite slowness. But it can go beyond having splash potions, as there's way more effects in game that you normally cannot get from potions. But out of all of them, there's only 3 more that can be used to get infinite effects. This is the absorption, because the Totem of Undying gives you absorption potency 2 for 5 seconds, where the golden apple will give you level 1 for 2 minutes. This follows the criteria of the stronger one being shorter. This can also be done for the negative effect of hunger, where Pufferfish gives you a level 3, but only lasts for 15 seconds, and the negative wither effect with wither roses and wither skulls. It should also be possible to get resistance 2 without having the negative effect of slowness. This would be done using potions as well as beacons with different times and potencies. So just by doing the regen as well as Turtle Master and wearing some enchanted netherite armor, it's possible to actually take no damage from the wither even if you're on hard difficulty. And this trick can also work on mobs, so we can go ahead and give this to our dog here. And we can actually see this on the wolf with its duration set to -1. And with the dog aligned properly, we can also apply the resistance. And by using the command, we can actually see it. Using this, you can make a whole army of dogs which are resistant to taking damage, and plus they can regenerate themselves once they do get attacked. And you can do this to any mob, making them extremely powerful. So not only could this be used for like pets as well as tamed animals like horses that are less likely to die, but you could also use them on strong mobs to make them more challenging to kill. Now there is a couple ways you could lose your infinite potion effect. One is by drinking like milk. Another is when you die. When you respawn, you have no effects. The third way is kind of unusual if you go into the end dimension, and then once you kill the dragon and whenever you will leave the end dimension, you'll go through the exit end portal, and notice when you come out the other side, it removes all your effects. Keep this in mind if you're planning to do this trick in a version where it works before they actually patch it. Now it is very likely they will fix this, since the full release of 1.20 is a long ways off. It would be fixed before the full release either way. On top of that, Bugs also did message me publicly, so it's not like this could have been kept a secret until the full release. So if you want to take advantage of this, it's most likely you will have to upgrade your world to one of these snapshots prior to the full release and it being fixed. Keep in mind that these snapshots aren't always stable, so make sure you always have a backup in case your world gets corrupted or becomes incompatible with future snapshots. What other cool ideas could this be used for? If you guys ever find anything cool or unusual in Minecraft, you guys can always direct message me on Discord or Twitter. Thanks Bugs for showing me this cool trick, and you guys can check out more crazy tricks in the game Minecraft in this entire playlist here, or this one all about secrets within the game. And check out all my other social media down in the description, including my Twitch, where I live stream every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for watching, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!